Alright people, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. On this channel, I talk to you about how to get a job in a bad economy and in a recession. I also talk to you about how to get a job in the federal government. And I do all of that by telling you about my personal journey from the time I completed college in 2009 in a bad economy all the way up until where I am today. I'll be doing a three-part video. In the first video, I'll be explaining USAJOBS and all the tabs in USAJOBS. In video 2, I'm going to talk to you and teach you about how to build a government resume. And in the third video, I'm going to show you how I apply to government jobs, starting with how I built the resume and the keywords and how I actually go about doing it. If that sounds good to you, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, let's get started. How am I an expert on USAJOBS and finding a job in the government? Well, I've been a vet for the past 10 years. I was hired by the TSA in 2011. In 2013, I transferred to U.S. Immigration. In the past 10 years, I have applied for 44 government jobs. I was offered 36 of them. So that tells you I have an understanding of what I'm doing and how to go about doing this. The purpose of this video is to explain USAJOBS and the tabs in USAJOBS. I won't be going through every single tab. I'm only gonna go through the ones that I think are important for you to understand. Yes, a lot of job recruiters will tell you, hey, you have to complete every single section of USAJOBS or else recruiters won't have any idea of how to find you and all that stuff. Hang on. The only time government recruiters come trying to find people is if they have a very specific person in mind. That's the only time. Other than that, everyone else, like you and I, we find a job through USAJOBS. I'm also going to show you the 2 places to find all the keywords on a USAJOB posting. And they will always be in those 2 places every single time. And then if you stick around till the end, I will teach you how to figure out if a job is actually worth your while applying for. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Here is your USAJOBS homepage. Homepage is broken down into 3 tabs. In the first tab are your job applications. These are all the jobs that you have applied for or have already applied for in the past. Tab 2, these are all the jobs you saved. So if you search for a job, you can save it to go back and apply for it later on. It'll all be in this tab. In tab 3, these are all your saved searches. So if you're searching for a job based on a certain criteria, you can save that criteria and it'll pop up in this tab right here. Okay, so homepage. Let's go ahead and go to the profile page. We go up, right up here, profile, and the profile page pops up. The only thing you have to complete on the profile page is your contact. That's it. You don't have to complete anything else. And yes, there is an address here. However, if you go to that address, I won't be there. In fact, go ahead and type into Google and tell me in the comments what you find. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll up. This is your Documents tab. Click on that. This is where you keep all your resumes. I have 4 already. And the way you upload everything is right over here. You click that button and you can upload your personal resume, or you can use the USAJOBS resume builder. As a pro tip, write your own resume and upload it. Trust me, it works a lot better than the resume builder. I'm coming from personal experience. Do your own resume. Okay, scroll back up to the top to other. These are your documents, such as your college transcripts or your proof of being in the Army, your DD-214, and all that other stuff. That's why you can save up to 10. And 10 is a lot of documents, and as you can see, I've only got 2. So you probably won't even go past 5 if you include your DD-214 and your vet pref paperwork and your Peace Corps paperwork if you have it, and all that other stuff. So the only things I've ever put on here are college transcripts and proof of federal employment, and that was it. I've been in 10 years, I only use 2 documents. Then we scroll back up and click on preferences. You don't have to touch anything here if you don't want to. And even if you do complete this, it doesn't hurt or help. All it does is it filters out a bunch of jobs that fit the criteria that you put in. However, depending on how bad you want a job, you have to be flexible. So if you start completing all of the stuff on this page, all it's gonna do is limit the amount of jobs that pop up. Yes, I have this page completed. However, I haven't touched this page in 10 years, and I still don't touch it. I just leave it as is, because I can take a job anywhere in the country, and it's perfectly okay because I am willing to go to the job. I keep things flexible. That's why I pick up jobs very quickly. However, I understand a lot of people don't have that kind of flexibility. You either bought a house, or you have a family, or you have something where you can't go to the job. That's perfectly okay. You just won't have an as big of a job applicant or application pool to choose from. So in English, the amount of jobs available to you go from being a whole bunch to a smaller amount. It's going to take a longer time for you to find a job, but you will find a job. Everything you want is on the other end of being persistent. You have to be persistent in finding these jobs. The jobs won't come to you, you have to go to them. Basel, how do I find the job? Cool, let's go figure that out. Back on the screen, let's go to the top. At the top right corner is your search button. Click on that bad boy. Here it says keywords. Click in there. Okay, a lot of you want jobs with the TSA. I'll just use the TSA as an example, okay? So we type in TSA, and it pops up right here, transportation security, yada, 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 okay? And we click on that, and here, all of these jobs pop up. If I would have completed the preference page, and I put in, I only want jobs that have these specifications, full-time, permanent, these places. All of these jobs available, I wouldn't have 284 jobs. I'll probably have 25, 26 jobs available. So keep your preferences page empty, keep your options open. All right, so let's just go ahead and find a job, because a lot of you are trying to get a job as a transportation security officer at the TSA. That's the job I had. If you're wondering, what is a transportation security officer? That's the guy in the blue uniform at the checkpoint, checking your bags, patting you down, telling you to take off your belt and shoes and all that stuff. That is a transportation security officer. That's the job a lot of you guys are trying to get. So I will use that as the example. Let's go ahead and click on that one. Okay. So on the job posting, there's only a few things that you care about. All the other stuff, don't worry about it. Why do I tell you that? Because I don't worry about it. In fact, a rule of thumb, if I don't worry about it, you don't worry about it either. First tab we talk about is overview. Pay attention to the job posting dates. This is very important because it tells you how long that job is available. And then pay attention to appointment type. It tells you if the job is permanent, if the job is temporary, if the job is seasonal, whatever. Pay attention to that. And the third thing you pay attention to is work schedule. Is it part-time? Is it full-time? Does it only come up if a hurricane or a flood happens or whatever? Overview tab, only 3 things you care about for the time being. As you start going higher and higher in your federal career, you can start paying attention to the other stuff. But for today, just those 3 things, that's all you care about. Scroll down to job location right here. That tells you where the job is. Why is that important? For example, if you're applying for a job at the airport in Houston, if you've been to Houston, they have 2 airports. They have George Bush, IAH, and then Houston Hobby, HOU. In the location, it will tell you which specific airport it is if there's 2 airports in that city. For the time being, that's all you care about, is where is the job exactly. That's it. Okay, let's keep going to job duties, and we scroll down. Don't even touch the tabs at the top. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Here, stop here. Only thing you care about is right here. As a transportation security officer, that which I highlighted is your job. However, these things are keywords that you are going to put in your resume. Okay? Why am I telling you to put these job functions in your resume? You're going to find out as we keep going down. But this is extra padding that you want to add in your resume as your keywords. Just trust me on this part. Okay, I showed you that. Let's go ahead and scroll down to the requirements tab. Here, only thing you care about is qualifications. These are the qualifications that you have to have in order to be hired as a transportation security officer at the TSA. And it's only 2 that you have to have. Either a high school education or you have to have a year of work experience in being a security guard or aviation screening or being an x-ray tech. That's it. The only thing that you have to have is either education or work experience. Well, it's not the only thing. It's one of 2. The second thing you have to have is you have to be able to speak English. I'm going to qualify that with a grain of salt. At the TSA in Atlanta, I worked with a guy from Puerto Rico. All he ever did is he spoke Spanish. He didn't care who he was talking to. He didn't care if you were Korean, if you were German, or if you came from Kenya or wherever. He spoke Spanish to you. That's all he spoke. He spoke English sometimes, but really he spoke Spanish to everyone. I worked with a guy from Kingston, Jamaica. Guess what he spoke to everybody? He spoke patois. He didn't care who you were, he spoke patois to everyone. So, do you have to speak English? Yes. How strong does your English have to be? Well, if you can order beer at the bar, then you're doing pretty good. Okay, after qualifications, education. Scroll down, it's right here. And a lot of job postings, and I'll show you that later on, won't be in this video, but a different one. You can substitute education if you don't have the job qualifications. The current job that I hold, well, it's not the current job that I hold, but when I went from TSA to immigration, I didn't have any immigration experience. So I used my education in lieu of job experience. Here at the TSA, they didn't put the education exception here on the job posting. They put it up here in the qualification. So you can substitute your education for work experience. The only time that you pay attention to education is if you are applying for a highly specialized job. If you're applying to be an accountant, a scientist, an attorney, these people have to have college degrees. I understand accountants just have to be certified. They don't have to go to college. But if you plan on working for the government, then you do. I have a friend who's working at the Department of the Treasury. He's an accountant and he's also an attorney. And he practices tax law. He was told if you're going to practice tax law, then you have to have a law degree and an accounting degree. He couldn't get around that. So, when do you pay attention to education? Is if the job you're applying for is highly specialized. Or if you don't have the job experience and you want to substitute education, it'll tell you in that section. TSA does their postings differently. All agencies do it differently. It's cool. You just have to kind of go through the posting. Here is the second place that you find keywords. If you scroll down, look right here, how you will be evaluated. In every single government job posting, you pay attention to that section, and you're about to find out why. Click on Read and More. It tells you right here what all of the job requirements are that you will be held to when you apply for that job. Guess what those are, people? Keywords. Yes, these keywords do repeat. However, what they'll do just to kind of kick you off your game is add in additional keywords here and there just to see if you're paying attention. Getting a job in the government is tedious, but it's also easy to get. All you have to do is pay attention and follow directions. That's it. Pay attention and follow instructions. Let's go ahead and scroll down to right here. To preview questions, please click here. What are we going to do? Follow instructions. Click right there. Let's stop for a second. Every single agency is going to put all of the job qualifications in this screen right here that just popped up, except they will put it either here in this tab, View Eligibility Questions, or they will put it here in View Vacancy Questions. However, at the TSA, these guys are special. They want to be their own people. So they put it here in View Eligibility Questions. I've already scoped this out. I'm going to tell you for a fact. Here on the screen, all you pay attention to is questions 7, 8, and 9, and 10. Why do you pay attention to those? Let's go back up. What do we see here? Keywords. That's right. What do we see here? Keywords. What do we see here? Keywords. What do we see here? Keywords. TSA isn't trying to trick you. They just keep it very simple. So, if you come to this screen, all you do is you pay attention to 7, 8, 9, and 10. Everything else is standard screening questions that you don't have to put on your resume, okay? It's cool. Just 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's it. Okay, I want to show you something very quickly. Let's scroll back up to view vacancy questions. Every other agency except for the TSA puts their keywords in this tab right here. I don't know why the TSA wants to be special. Whatever, let's just go with it. So on TSA, if you click here, it only pops up 2 questions. As you can see, question 2 is basically asking, did you review everything? And question 1 is basically saying, I told the truth on the application. That's it. Every other agency will put the job qualifications on this page. It's the TSA that does it this way. Why? Who cares? Just go with it. I mean, why is the sky blue? Okay. I don't care. Don't tell me. The point is, who cares? Just go with it. All right? Good to go. I'll show you one additional thing. If you come down here to qualifications, as you can tell, it's very sparse. It's either education or experience, and you have to speak English. How do you build a resume off of just that? Here's the padding I told you about. Scroll back up to duties. Right here. This section. Right here. This is the extra padding you put into your resume. Point 1 and point 2 and point 3. Only a handful of people have done. If you're a cop or a security guard, you've done those things, but everyone hasn't. I haven't done them until I was offered the job. But this point, this point, this point, and this one, everyone has done all of those. Guess what those jobs are where people have done those? Customer service jobs. Because in customer service, you interact with the public, right? People call in, it's the general public calling you. You give people instructions. Someone calls you and they tell you, hey, I can't figure this out, and you tell them how to do it, right? And then answering questions. Everyone has answered a question at some point, right? So I'm going to teach you how to put all that into your resume in video 2. Here's the part you've all been waiting for. Faisal, how do I understand if a job is worth my time applying to? Very simple. Look back on the screen. Let's scroll straight to the top. And let's go down to, where is it? Okay. Scroll down to location. Right here. I've highlighted something. There's something I want you to pay attention to. It is right here. 2 words. And any vacancies. That's it. And many vacancies. Federal employment, when you are just trying to get in, comes down to 1 word. And numbers. That's it. It's a numbers game. Every single federal job I applied to, from the first one at the TSA When I applied, they were hiring 1,500 people. That's how I got hired. When I went to immigration, they were hiring 150 people. That's how I got hired. When I applied for that first promotion at immigration, 150 people. Guess who got hired? When I applied again to become a refugee officer with U.S. Immigration, once again, they were hiring about 150 people. Are you seeing a pattern in how I'm doing this? The only time I applied for a job that was hiring 3 people, I just kind of took a shot in the dark. And the first time I applied, I got turned down. But I applied a second time. Once again, they were only hiring 3 people, and I got hired. How did I do it? The first time I applied, I did really bad in the interview, but I thought it through. After the interview was over, I went back and I typed up every single interview question I remembered. And then I typed up the answer for those questions. And then I was given an essay prompt I had to write. I went back again and I wrote the question that I remembered and I typed up the answer. I had a friend who applied for the same job. I called him and I'm like, yo, homie, what question were you asked? And he told me, and I typed up an answer for that question. When I applied again, I came prepared. I practiced every single interview question. That when I answered them, it just came. It wasn't a problem. I wasn't guessing. I wasn't thinking. I just rapid fired every answer. When they told me, hey, here's the essay question, what do you think I did? I was like, oh, I've seen that question. In fact, I already have that question and the answer written up. Copy, paste, waited about an hour, hit send. 2 weeks later, I got a job offer. Out of 200 people, they interviewed 30 people. Out of the 30 people, 3 openings. I got a job offer. So, what I'm trying to tell you is I understand what I'm doing. I've done this very often. I've got it down to a science. This is one of the easiest things I've done was applying for a federal job. The only thing is, it's a tedious endeavor, but it can be done. If a job has 1 or 2 openings, don't even waste your time for 2 reasons. 1, the competition's very stiff. And 2, if you don't have veterans preference, it doesn't matter how qualified you are for that job. You won't even be on the first page, the second page, or the third page. You'll probably be towards the end because the veterans get preference. And honestly, I am okay with that. Thank you for fighting for the country. You should get first dibs on any job you want because you sacrificed. I'm cool with that. But what I'm trying to tell you is 1 or 2 openings, don't even bother. Keep it going. Just a quick qualifying statement. The job I applied for that only had 3 openings was asylum officer. At the time when I applied, that was a promotion. So I applied and I got it. The reason why I applied is because it was an internal job opening. Because it was only open to current immigration employees, that's how I got around the whole veterans preference hurdle. So, if you are a current federal employee and you're applying for a job that is internal, that is the only way you can get past the veterans preference. One traditional way to beat the veterans preference is if the agency is hiring like 150 plus people. When there's a lot of people being hired, it's easier to get in. However, if the agency is only hiring 1, 2, or 3 people, you're going to get killed on the vet pref every single time. That's all I've got for this video. In video 2, I'm going to show you how to build a federal resume. And because a lot of you are trying to get a job at the TSA, I will build a TSA resume using the qualifications that I just showed you. Until then, peace out.